Senator Cornyn.
I'd like to ask the witnesses, what would be the impact on the United States economy and national security if we failed to assist in the defense of Taiwan? Go for it.
I'm happy to start, sir. So great question. I think I'll let Rush talk about some of the other indicators in his testimony, but from a security perspective, sir, the loss of Taiwan as this, quote, unsinkable aircraft carrier would be completely irreversible. We would lose our ability to access the first island chain and the rest of the region. We would obviously lose a close, vibrant democratic partner. The list goes on and on and on.
Would President Xi stop there, in your opinion?
My belief is no.
Mr. Doshi, Dr. Doshi.
Sure. Well, thank you, Senator, for the question. I think it is the important question because the American people would suffer if we were not to stand with Taiwan in a scenario like that. Let me just offer 3 quick points. The first one, obviously, is the economic cost of war itself, which would be 10% of global GDP, a Great Depression, essentially, a second Great Depression. But there's another factor as well, because maybe they're able to take Taiwan without firing a shot. Maybe Taiwan capitulates. Even in that situation, we're seeing what we would see is an Asia that's no longer favorably inclined towards the United States. A world in which Asia is sort of no longer accessible to us. We're locked out of Asia, where Asian states bandwagon with China. And we have to assume that'll happen because right now China is half of all regional military spending and half of all Asian GDP. So they might just say, well, we'll work with China, we'll accommodate their power. That'd be a world in which the United States could not reindustrialize. We are correctly focused on building back manufacturing capabilities in this country. President Trump and President Biden focused on that. But Asian investment is critical. They still know how to make the things that we want to make. They may not be able to do so if that's subject to veto from China and if their supply chains are subject. So to bring it home to the average American, it's not just the cost of the war, it's also the question of what our business model will be as a country. Will we bring back manufacturing? And if we don't stand with Taiwan, I think it'll be very hard to do that.
If I could just add one additional point, and I agree with my fellow witnesses, using force has not been central in Chinese foreign policy. Really since 1979 when they took some actions and invaded Vietnam. I believe that if they actually took Taiwan by force successfully, that consideration of use of force would become much more central in PRC foreign policy, whether we're talking about against Japan, South China Sea, against some of the claimants, or potentially against India. And as their capabilities continue to improve, much farther from their shores.
During the first Trump administration and then during the Biden administration, we worked on shoring up the supply chains of advanced semiconductors, recognizing the dominance of Asia in that production of these essential ingredients of everything with an off and on switch. What would be the impact on the U.S. economy, Dr. Doshi, if we were denied access to TSMC and maybe even Samsung's production capability in South Korea?
Well, thank you, Senator, and for your leadership on this issue in particular. Let me just say the impact would be catastrophic. The entire AI build-out in the United States is made in Taiwan. All the chips are from there. All the advanced nodes that we need for those data centers come from Taiwan. A world in which...
Is that where NVIDIA has their chips manufactured?
Yes, Senator, that's exactly right. Virtually every single NVIDIA chip of significance is made in Taiwan. And so there is no AI data center build-out. There is no AI industry without Taiwan's fabs. The result of China having not only destroyed those fabs in the case of war, but perhaps occupying those fabs if Taiwan is peacefully taken, it would mean that our entire AI future is in the hands of Beijing. And because AI is the most transformative technology we know of, and because we don't have the industrial advantage to go head-to-head against China, this is the one lead we do have, compute, AI chips. If we lost that, we would probably lose the 21st century.
If, in fact, the consequences of Chinese invasion of Taiwan would be so catastrophic to our economy and national security, does a policy of strategic ambiguity make sense, Ms. Dickey? And let's go down the line.
My belief is that the policy of strategic ambiguity still continues to serve the best interests of this country because it gives the President of the United States, regardless of administration, the most decisional flexibility in a crisis or a contingency.
Senator, I do believe that this policy of strategic ambiguity has one significant advantage, which is that it also incentivizes Taiwan to invest in its defense. And every pound of material that Taiwan builds or has deployed on its island is worth, 1,000 what we have across the horizon, because it's harder for us to get there. So I'd like them to have skin in the game, and this makes sure that they do.
I believe that strategic ambiguity continues to serve American interests, that it is, there would be a risk of it being interpreted in Beijing if the United States said we would defend Taiwan under all circumstances, that it might actually provoke the attack that we're seeking to deter, especially if Beijing perceives that we really don't have the capability at present to defend Taiwan. I also agree with both of my fellow witnesses that we should not tie the hands of the president. But we have to ensure we have the capability, so we have to have the credible military threat. And I think that is one of the most important ingredients in order to support continued strategic ambiguity.
Thank you.